Okay, I'm Nathaniel Puente for UTRGV Radio, and today I am joined by a man who has transcended this university in its transition from UTPA to UTRGV, Mr. Carl Nelson, a reference librarian here at the university. How are you doing today?
I'm great. And actually, they recently changed our description. We're now Research and Instructional Services Librarians.
Okay, well, that just kind of dives into my first question. What exactly is your position, and what do you do as it?
Well, as a Research and Instructional Services Librarian, I basically show students how to use the library's databases, the online catalog. I also help professors with their research, like if they have a question about where to find a specific type of measurement or instrument, I can help them find that. I also, of course, help students with their research as well. One of my main duties when I'm on the reference desk is to help students find books or articles.
How long have you been working here?
I have been working here 11 years.
11 years.
Started out as a library clerk, working a night shift, and then once I got my Master's of Library Science, I became a full-fledged librarian.
When did you get that library science degree?
I graduated from Texas Women's University with my MLS in 2007.
Interesting. So you just came, but you had worked here. You were taking classes online, or how did that work?
I was taking classes online. TWU has an excellent online library program. I've actually never stepped on the TWU campus in Denton. Everything was online. Everything was online from my intro to library science course to the final capstone.
Wow. What kind of steps would someone have to take to become a librarian?
Becoming a librarian is really easy. All you have to do is basically major in anything. You could major in underwater basket weaving and then go on and get an MLS. But after you get your undergraduate's degree, you apply to a library school. There are 3 American Library Association accredited schools here in Texas. One is at UNT, the other is at Texas Women's University, and the third is at UT Austin. You'd apply to any of those. And once you're accepted to the program, you spend 2 to 4 years getting your master's in library science.
Awesome. Does the library offer any resources that students may not be aware about?
Oh, yeah. We have a ton of stuff that students may find particularly useful. On the 3rd floor, we have the Media Reserves Desk, or what's now known as the Media Desk. There you guys can check out laptops, iPads, Surface Pros. We even have GoPro cameras, digital cameras, and even projectors available for student use.
When can students and staff visit you, and where can they visit you?
I'm located on the 2nd floor of the library in office 2.113. I'm usually there pretty much Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Generally, though, it's best to try to set up an appointment to see a librarian, because we are, of course, busy, because there's only 3 librarians currently in my department, and we serve, over 20,000 students here on the Edinburgh campus, not to mention nearly 600 faculty and staff. So we're all over the place. So, you can go up there and see if I'm in, but setting up an appointment will guarantee that you'll be able to see me.
Would you say it's a very busy job?
Yes. There's always something going on, whether it's working the information/reference desk, preparing for library instruction or actually running library instruction classes. We also do outreach to the McAllen teaching site and the art school over on Klausner.
Great. Let's focus on your background a little bit. Where did you grow up, and where did you eventually attend college?
I originally am from Iowa, a little town called Milford. I moved down here in 1988 with my mother. She got a teaching job. So I went to high school over in Weslaco and finished up at Mac High in McAllen. I then attended the University of Texas Pan American from 1992 to 1999. I had some health problems, so it took me a little while to get through. And I got my Bachelor of Arts in Social Behavioral Sciences with a concentration in anthropology and a secondary major in history. I then kind of kicked around for about 5 years trying to figure out what to do. I worked at Myth Adventures, which is a comic book store down here in the valley. And then I stumbled onto the MLS program through Texas Women's University and got my MLS in 2007. And then I have been on this campus from around 2005 to now.
That's great. I've actually done some snooping around the UTRGV Library YouTube page, and I've noticed there's a video somewhere in the 90s when they're pitching for a student union, and you actually come out as a student staff Senate member. So
yes,
that's pretty cool.
I was a member of the SGA back in the 90s. I was both a senator as well as vice president of the SGA. We did help get the student union built back, good grief, I think it was 96, 97, I'm going to say. It was very interesting getting through the approval process, and I'm glad we actually worked on that. I worked with the president of the SGA, Monica Trevino, at the time, and yeah, we got the administration to agree to it, but only after the students here at the university in the 1990s actually voted on a referendum to build the student union.
That's great that you've been given so much to this university for so long. I can't imagine that there was a radio station at the school back then.
No, there was not.
Can you give me one song that you would recommend to be played? I mean, one song from your college days that you would want to be played.
Oh, wow. It's not exactly from my college days, but one of my favorite songs of all time is Thunderstruck by AC/DC. That particular song saw me through many a late night working on papers when I was an undergrad. So when I was a kid, like you guys, I would kind of procrastinate, so I would pull all-nighters, and when I was writing papers overnight, I would listen to AC/DC.
How would you say the college experience compares today to how it did when you were an undergraduate?
You guys have access to a lot more information than I ever did as a student. You guys have tons of databases you can use. You have Google Scholar. When I was an undergrad, we didn't have that. Sorry to kind of bring it back to library science. I know it's a little bit on the boring side, but you guys have such an amazing ability to get information now that I, as a freshman or, even a senior, could never dream of.
Let's focus more on your career bit. It's not as boring as you might think it is. How would you recommend this? Would you recommend this career for others, and what advice would you give them?
Being a librarian is great. I love being on the academic side of librarianship and being a research and instructional services librarian. It's a wonderful job. When students come to me and I get to help them, it's a great feeling knowing that I'm supporting their success here at the university. That's not to say that being a public school librarian or a public librarian also wouldn't be awesome. It's just that I currently like what I'm doing now a lot.
What advice would you give to someone trying to do this job?
To become a research and instructional services librarian, you have to have an open mind. You also have to be a great listener, in that you can't basically assume things with students. You have to let them speak in order to basically tell you what they need as far as information or help goes.
Who would you say have been your biggest influences throughout both life and maybe just in the career you're in right now?
My biggest influence, I think, as far as my career goes, is my university advisor when I was going through the MLS program at TWU, Dr. Ling Jiang Wei. She was awesome, and she's really she has really encouraged me to continue on as a librarian. I still talk to her, surprisingly. She actually currently now is the president of the Texas Library Association, which I'm also a part of. And that kind of segues nicely into if you're interested in being a librarian, check out the Texas Library Association, check out the American Library Association. They can really help you kind of understand the profession, as well as kind of get an idea of where you can go to school, what you need to do to get into librarianship.
I've also read on your short bio that you are the advisor of the anime and gaming clubs here at school. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. Actually, in 1992, Mark Hancock and I started the Japanese Animation Club here on campus. And it's kind of really neat that I now get to be an advisor for a club I started over 25 years ago. It's really neat helping out the students within the club. It's been a real privilege to continue to see the club grow and continue to be a part of the university.
Are there any positions for undergraduate students that want to work or intern at the library?
Yes, we do have work study positions generally at the beginning of a semester. You guys should go to Career Connections and check out and see if the library has anything available for student workers.
What do you see anything next in your career?
I honestly don't know. I tried to do the management side of things, but I didn't really enjoy it all that much. What I'd like to do is get more into the academic research side of librarianship and kind of basically maybe work on a PhD. I'm not sure if it would be in library science or maybe information science, but I'd like to try to understand how students use information so that we as librarians can improve their experience and make life easier for them.
Okay, before we let you go, are there any final comments you'd like to say? Any people you'd like to thank? Anything you'd like to get out there to the listeners?
I'd like to thank Peter Cortez and John Asbell. They're both librarians over at the university library. Peter Cortez is actually the associate university librarian. They both hired me originally as a night clerk, and that started me on the path to actually becoming a full-fledged librarian here. Also, my current supervisor, Susan Bushnell, has been really awesome about letting me explore different avenues of information science, and I appreciate that as well.
Awesome. Well, it's been a privilege to have you in our studio, and we wish you good luck with everything in your future.
Thank you for having me here. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you.